Good morning, everybody. It is 9:31, and I'd like to call the meeting of the Human Services Committee to order. Here, please call the roll.
Chair Swarzy.
Here.
Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Garcia. Member Desart.
Here.
Member Galassi.
Here.
Member LaPlante.
Okay, I do know that member LaPlante is going to be absent, but member Garcia is probably next door still, or?
Yes.
Okay. I expect to see her shortly. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay. As this committee may recall, our last meeting I mentioned, we're getting into that time for our small human services grant. A week from Friday, I will be meeting with county board staff, including Mary Keating, including our administrative staff, our finance staff, and our finance committee to discuss the parameters of our 2024 small human services grant. The big issue, I think that we just need to iron out is the application process itself. We need to maybe make some more we need to define the application process for our finance staff, because they're the ones who go through it. So more information coming, but we are getting the ball rolling on this. So more information coming soon. With that being said, we'll move on to our agenda items. I'll take a motion to approve item 2379, our Human Services Committee regular meeting for Tuesday, August 20th, 24. And I had a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion to approve item HSR 1724, authorization of applications for the Community Development Block Grant and Emergency Solutions Grant for program year 25 and program year 26. We had a motion and a second. Great. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on item 242380, a recommendation for approval of a contract to Piedmont Global Language Solutions to provide interpreter and translation services for community services for the period September 11th, 24 through November 30th of 25, or contract total amount not to exceed $15,000. Okay, we did have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Member Desart.
Aye.
Member Galassi.
Aye.
Member LaPlante. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Garcia. Aye. Chair Swarzy.
Aye. Thank you. I'll take a motion on item FIR 15324, acceptance and appropriation of the DuPage Care Center Foundation Music Therapy Grant for program year 24, in the amount of $58,701. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion on FIR 15224, additional
Second.
appropriation for the DuPage Care Center Foundation Music Therapy Grant for plan year 22, changing the amount from $82,263 to $89,405, an increase of $7,142. Did I have a motion and a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay. I'll take a motion on item 242381, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to ChronoSync for software support services for the Kronos automated time and attendance system and knowledge pass for the DuPage Care Center for the period September 28th, 2024 through September 27th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $26,468.25. And we did have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Garcia. Aye. Member Desart.
Aye.
Member Galassi.
Aye.
Member LaPlante. Chair Swarzy.
Aye. Thank you. I'll take a motion on item 242382, a transfer of funds from the auto liability insurance account to the IT equipment capital lease account in the amount of $720 and to the copier usage account in the amount of $200 for a total amount of transfer $920. This budget transfers to cover the monthly Toshiba printer copier lease and usage costs for the income eligible retro program grant. We had a motion, a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say
Sheila?
aye. Oop.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, that's right.
Thank you.
You can still discuss. We want to get rid of all copiers in the county.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. I will take a motion to combine the consent items 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, 9E, 9F, and 9G. We had a motion, a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, I'll take a motion to approve item 242383, KCI USA Inc. This purchase order is decreasing in the amount of $43,764.67 and closing due to purchase order expiring. Item 242384, Nova Staff Healthcare Services. This purchase order is decreasing in the amount of $401,947.62 and closing due to purchase order expired. Item 242385, Bright Star Care of Central DuPage. This purchase order is decreasing in the amount of $194,813.50 and closing due to purchase order expiring. Item 242386, Maxim Healthcare Services. This purchase order is decreasing the amount of $16,836.86 and closing due to the purchase order expired. Item 242387, Lynn Gas and Equipment. This purchase order is decreasing the amount of $12,060.91 and closing due to purchase order expiring. Item 242388, Warehouse Direct. This purchase order is decreasing in the amount of $21,417.76 and closing due to purchase order expired. And 242389, Ecolab Inc. This purchase order is decreasing in the amount of $16,858.01 and closing due to purchase order expired. We had a motion?
Oh, so moved.
And a second. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I'll take a motion to receive and place on file item 242390,
So moved.
GPN 03024 Community Services Block Grant, Plan Year 25, the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, in the amount of $1,269,609. We had a motion, a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We do have a residency waiver. We'll have two of them. Karen will hand those out, and I believe Shauna Berman. You can see Shauna on our
Hi,
screen,
good morning.
the administrative assistant. So we'll turn it over to you, Shauna.
All right, so there's two residency waivers. The first one is for an 81-year-old male. He lived in DuPage County in Glen Ellen in 1979. He has two daughters that have lived in DuPage for 36 and 43 years. They have 5 grandchildren also living in the county. The applicant was recently in a subacute rehab in Chicago, and family is looking forward to having him close by for more frequent visiting.
Any discussion on this?
So I'll make a motion to approve and moving into the TPTC.
I just have a question.
Yeah,
Can you just give us a report on the open bed situation? And obviously this isn't gonna displace any DuPage residents.
It is not going to, I apologize. There are 8 male and 6 female beds available at the facility. 2 beds have already been offered to DuPage County residents.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
My apology.
That's okay. Any other questions for Shauna? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Go ahead, Shauna.
The second residency waiver is for an 83-year-old female. They never lived in DuPage County. The daughter and sister-in-law have lived in Winfield for 33 years. The sister-in-law owns a business in DuPage. The daughter has volunteered at CDH. The applicant's spouse is currently a resident at the facility and has been for the last 2 years. And the family is impressed with the care and the amenities, and they would like to have their parents together. We have a rare opportunity to actually put them together in the same room.
So I think that was a necessity to keep them together. So Paula moved and I seconded.
Any other discussion?
That's so sweet.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Thank you, Shauna, for that.
Thank you.
And you have an update on the care center.
I do. So unfortunately, we've had another uptick with COVID. We currently have 1 unit that is isolated, and our COVID unit is nearly full of both either COVID positive or people who are observing for observation. So our staff have been very busy. This weekend was pretty busy here at the facility. We recently completed our annual Illinois Department of Public Health survey. That's our annual licensure survey. And the reason why Janelle is not with us today is because her and Anita are actively working on what's called the plan of correction, which we have to submit as part of that survey. And then our construction update, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that our front circle drive gets paved today. It's looking really nice from the outside, and so we're excited to be able to have that full and open and beautiful again. So we're getting there. That's all I have today. Any questions?
Okay. I see none, and thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
Well, on to community services update with Mary Keating.
Good morning. Last week, the Transformational Grant Planning Committee met to make the final review of the final round of transformational grants. Those will be presented at the October 8th board meeting. I'm really looking forward to what will accompany the new grant distribution is a report on the impact of the grants thus far. I think you'll be extremely impressed by the number of people served and the number of innovative programs and partnerships that have come out of this. On the CDBG side, the letters of intent were due last week for Community Development Block Grant and Emergency Solutions Grant funding in the area of neighborhood investments, which is our applications from municipalities and units of government. We received 24 letters of intent. We anticipate only being able to fund 5 or 6 projects. And so just a heads up that you may get some calls from disappointed mayors or village managers or township officials that we're just absolutely not able to fund everything that people are looking for out there. We received 19 letters of intent for public services. Those come from nonprofits. We probably, I don't know how many we anticipate on that end.
Probably 5, I
Yeah,
would say.
again, yeah, these are very, very limited funds. I think something that's going to be a little bit of an awakening is a reminder that these are limited funds. These aren't ARPA funds. There's no more funds coming.
Yeah.
There's no way to shift something from one place to another. These denials will be, a hard no. So these will all be, each letter of intent has to be reviewed by staff, and then if they're determined just basically eligible, the applicant is then encouraged or allowed to complete a full application, which then goes under an even more extensive review. So the community development, Julie's group will be up to their eyeballs in applications over the next couple months. The recommendations will go to the Community Development Committee, Executive Committee. I think we usually shoot for first meeting in December. And so then they'll come to the board. They'll come through this committee and the board in early 2025.
Go ahead, Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair, not on this committee, but so the funding that's available this year, is it kind of the shock because it's not combined with the ARPA money? And is it kind of going back to the same level, or has it been the same levels all along, but we just got pretty happy with the ARPA money that we can
That's
pass
exactly
out?
right. Yeah, CDBG's been pretty level for several years now. It's always up to a congressional appropriation. Yeah, what I'm saying is that, some of the municipalities and townships have gotten an enormous amount of money from the county over the last 4 years. And in some cases, when requests have exceeded what we had originally set aside, we were able to shift things around, put more money into pots. That's not the situation with CDBG. And so I think, it will be challenging for our staff.
Have we kind of communicated that to any of the potential applicants? Thank you.
And I actually recommended to Julie that even the ones who passed through the letter of intent phase are just told, there's X number, there's 20 applications, we're going to be able to fund 5. So this will be highly, highly competitive. And probably the number one factor in those neighborhood investment projects is the percentage of residents that are low and moderate income in the area that will be benefiting. So, if something's 90% low and moderate income, it's going to score much higher than a community or a neighborhood that's, maybe 51%. So.
And I will say too, with only, in the neighborhood of with both of these grants, in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 available projects being able to be funded, you may have, for instance, you may have the Village of West Chicago asking for something, and then you also may have the West Chicago Park District asking for something and the, the West Chicago, township asking for something. And it's sort of policy just to work with one
We try
municipality.
to
spread it
distribute
around.
it geographically, right, right.
So it may not feel fair to any of those specific entities because they're separate, but we try to keep it to one town for.
It's what residents are benefiting, not necessarily what unit of local government is serving them. So whether it's a park district, or a municipality, it's, we're looking at, well, we're providing benefit to the residents of that community, regardless of which governmental unit is providing that assistance.
And what kinds of things do people ask for? What are some of the?
Neighborhood
projects?
investment is often street improvements, street lights, park improvements, storm sewer, upgrades or improvements,
And that would be in incorporated areas, right?
incorporated or unincorporated,
Because if they're in unincorporated, why wouldn't they go to transportation?
because it's community development block grant funds. So they could go to, DOT could be working on those projects, but this is funding specifically to do those types of improvements in low and moderate income neighborhoods. So it's just another potential funding source. And
those-
usually our funds don't fund 100% of the project. So there's typically another funding source. Mhm.
And many of those entities will go to look for various grants,
Right.
so not just CDBGs. Roughly how much money do we get from the state and the federal government on these grants?
We don't get anything from the state.
it's all
CDBG is a
federal.
direct federal entitlement. It's about 3.6 million a year. About 20% of that goes for all of the planning and admin work. 15% of it can go to public services and the remainder goes to capital, which we try to split kind of 50-50 between neighborhood investment, which is infrastructure by local governments, and then facilities from nonprofit organizations.
3.6 million,
It doesn't
just
go
in
a long
itself
way.
it doesn't go over.
Right.
Any other questions for Mary? Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And to your staff for all the hard work dealing with this. So thank you. Thank you very much, Julie.
The whole team's pleasure.
Do we have any old business? Seeing none, do we have any new business? Seeing none, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Second.
Thank you very much.